Hello, Glendora Music and Art School families and Upland Music Academy families. This is your director, Luis, and this is a new segment which is going to be highlighting our students and their families of how music lessons have actually benefited their lives in many different ways. So for this first segment, I thought I would start with myself, as I have been taking music lessons since I was 5 years old, and this is what has allowed me to just keep pushing forward with the music lessons and with our schools here. So this segment will be on the benefits of music lessons and how they benefited your director, Luis. So let's get it started. All right, I'll start off by first sharing a quick little summary of my story with music. So I started taking music lessons at 5 years old. We lived in Arizona, and I was actually chosen one of the 3 kids from Arizona to come out and compete in this showcase to show my talents in front of agents and managers. And luckily I got signed, so my family moved out to LA because all of our family was here too. So we moved out, I got to do music, and since then I've worked with some of the best vocal coaches. Shout out to Sean Royer, rest in peace, actually my mentor. He passed away this last year, but I trained with him. He trained everyone from Britney Spears, Christina Aguilera, Alicia Keys. You're talking all these big names, Justin Timberlake. So I got to train with him. I got to sign on with amazing agents and managers, and since then I've gotten to tour the country playing music. I've also been on TV shows with my acting career, such as Jane the Virgin, American Housewife, Grey's Anatomy. I've been on commercials for McDonald's, Subaru, Universal Studios, Nickelodeon, you name it. I've been blessed to do a lot of different stuff throughout my career, but it all started because of my music lessons. So now that you know a little bit very summarized of my story, let me go into how I know that my music lessons and my training actually helped me get to where I am today in my life, which is where with my acting career and also with my schools, with my recording studio and all those things. All right, so the first benefit that I know that helped me was with social skills. So when you're in arts programs like in music lessons, you go to recitals, you go to events, and you just have to learn to be on stage and just improve your social skills because you know everybody is watching you. So it really helps develop your social skills in a way that really pushes you to be able to do public speaking, speak to adults, speak to kids. So it really helped my social skills. The next benefit I really got from this was maturity. So when you're doing music lessons, as I said a little bit before, you're performing in recitals, in community events, you're doing stuff for your family at parties. So it really helps you mature because you're on stage and you have to present yourself to your audience, and it helps you mature because you got to practice to get those things going. So it teaches you how to practice, and it teaches you how to put those things together. And not only does it help me mature because of those aspects, it also help me mature because you are having a teacher who is your mentor. How important is it to have a mentor? And that is what your music teacher is to you. You look up to them, and you learn how they talk, you learn how they teach, and it just helps develop your mind and mature so much quicker, I think, than the average child, because of the experiences that you're living thanks to your music lessons, such as practice, performance, public speaking, and then just having a mentor in your life, aside from your parents, of course. The next benefits would be in school, which is what a lot of you parents are looking for, right? Will these classes help my kids get better grades? Yes, they will. And it's for a few reasons. When you are learning an instrument such as the piano, such as the guitar or voice, it's funny, you're actually combining English with math, and you're doing those things at the same time, and you're using 2 hands, and you're calculating, and you're thinking ahead, and you're doing math in your head while you're doing English. It's a lot of different things in your mind, which actually really helps develop your memory, which then helps you do better in school and get better grades. And that's how it helped me. I was finding myself never having trouble with English or math or science in school. I don't ever remember going, oh, this is hard, because music lessons taught me how to use my mind in a way that made these things so easy. And now before you say, well, you were just naturally intellectual, so it was easy for you, that's not the case, because music lessons, not only does it teach you to use all those aspects of your mind, it actually helps you develop a better memory. And one of the things about being in school is having a good memory, right, for your tests. So you learn how to use your memory in music, which then translates to your tests and homework in school, and it's just a recipe for A+ report card for all the kids out there. I know that was the case for me. I was always in advanced classes, and they were the easiest thing for me, and it was because how I used to learn my mind because of music lessons, which takes me to my next point, which was critical thinking. You heard me mention a little bit ago, when you're learning music, you're doing math, you're doing English, you're doing a little bit of science of critical thinking in there. So you mix all these things together and it just helps with your critical thinking so much, which, as we all know, critical thinking is used for everything. Critical thinking is used in any career, life situations, public speaking, performing on stage. It's just you learn to have these crazy mind powers because of the critical thinking that you develop because of music lessons. I have lived it. I have helped sometimes students do math. I haven't done math in years. And I was tutoring someone, not like regularly, but they asked me for help with a math problem. And I figured it out. And it was because of how my mind works, because of music, how you do music, how you do math while you learn. Now, another huge benefit of it that ties into critical thinking is a lot of your guys' kids, or if you're watching this yourself, maybe your goal isn't to be a professional musician, and that's totally okay, because music is an amazing hobby that helps relieve stress and anxiety, and that's a benefit in itself, right? But let's get down to the nitty-gritty, parents, because what you guys want is you want your kids to be successful when they're adults. You want them to be doing well later on in life. When you learn music lessons, it's not just about becoming a famous musician. It's the skills that you learn which translate directly into so many careers. Think of myself. I am a musician and an actor, but I own my 2 music schools, Glendora Music and Art School and Upland Music Academy, and my recording studio, Best Recording Studio LA. The critical thinking skills that I learned in my music lessons translated directly into my business. How? It taught me how to critically think for my business, and it taught me to practice and work hard, and it taught me to implement what I learned quickly, because when you're learning music lessons, they teach you something, you implement it right away in a song. So implementation is another huge one here. So the critical thinking that I learned and all the other things and the benefits translated directly into my music schools. And watch, public speaking, making these videos for you guys, right? Taking care of all the bills and all the director stuff for the school. That is all the hard work and being resilient and practice, right? Making sure my advertising campaigns are going out. That's my critical thinking, right? And my problem solving abilities, all stemming from music. Remember, I've been in music since I was 5 years old. So that's another huge benefit of music lessons. It's not just to become famous, it's also all the other benefits that you can input into your careers later on, whether your kids become scientists, doctors, lawyers, teachers, you name it. All these skills are going to be able to implement it successfully into their careers. And the last benefit I want to go over is tenacity. So music lessons are really challenging. They really push you to your limits sometimes because your hands hurt. You don't think you could use both hands at the same time. It's just tough doing music lessons. So one of the things that music lessons teaches you is tenacity, which, parents, tenacity is the biggest thing you need, one of the biggest things you need in life, right? To push forward. We are faced with such hard situations as adults that sometimes it's tough for us and it pushes us to our extremes. And music lessons does that with your skill when you're a child learning music lessons. It teaches you to be persistent, to just keep going until you figure it out. And you want to know why it teaches you that? Because when you're a kid or a teenager and you want to learn your favorite song, you're not going to let anything get in the way of that. You're going to keep pushing forward until you can play your songs, your favorite songs, favorite riff in there, which really does translate into the tenacity that you get as an adult. Right? You learn all these skills, you implement them as an adult, and it teaches you to keep pushing forward, just like you did in your music lessons. So now that you heard a little bit of my story and how I benefited from music lessons, I want you to ask yourself, what benefits am I going to take advantage of from my music lessons? Or what benefits will you receive from joining our school, right? So, music lessons is so important because we all have our weaknesses and our strengths. But if you are able to pinpoint your weaknesses and say, I'm going to use music lessons to help me make those stronger, you cultivate, right, the seeds to your future, and you become such a well-rounded person, all thanks to those fun little music lessons you take at Glendora Music and Art School or Upland Music Academy. Right? Music lessons isn't just about becoming this famous musician or about, being the talk of the town, which you will be. Everyone's going to think you're awesome because you can play the guitar, drums, or piano. It's about using these benefits for other careers which might not be music. We're talking about doctors, lawyers, policemen, engineers. You talk about it. your kids will become such a well-rounded individual because of these benefits that you will learn from taking music lessons. Trust me, I've lived it and I see it with myself every single day. Not to brag or you know, or say I'm super awesome, but I do see how these benefits of music lessons have directly tied into my adult life now. So with that being said, guys, thank you so much for watching my story. We will be highlighting an actual student and their family during our next segment, so keep an eye out for that in our March newsletter. Bye-bye, guys.